You have your question written on your iPhone?
No, I'm going to tape this and
You're going to tape this.
Show it to Matt Myra because I know that he's.
Are you going to show it to Matt?
Yes.
Matt, Alpha 39!
I was hoping that would happen. I was born in the 80s, so both Reading Rainbow and The Next Generation were the formative things of my life, and the fact that you were on both clearly made you my favorite actor, which was awesome.
You, sir, have such impeccable taste.
It's true. I truly do. I truly do. Absolutely. You can ask my friends. So I wanted to thank you for that. And I was always in special ed classes as I was growing up, and there were people in those classes with physical disabilities, and you were always a hero to them because the character that you played on The Next Generation not only had a physical disability, but turned it into an ability.
Right.
So on behalf of them, I wanted to thank you too.
God bless.
And you're awesome, and keep on going.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Is that a frequent thing when the fans come up to you, to get an autograph, to get their photo taken? Is that a frequent sentiment that you receive?
It is, and I enjoy it. You have to understand that I was a fan of the original series primarily because of the presence of Nichelle Nichols. I read a lot of science fiction books when I was a kid, and heroes of color were not all that common. So Gene's vision of the future was one that I completely embraced because it embraced me. So to have grown up and represent, again, in Star Trek, for people dealing with physical challenges, what Nichelle Nichols represented for me when I was growing up, seeing oneself represented in the popular culture is immeasurably important for the formation of one's identity and self-image, and I don't think you can underestimate the value of seeing examples that one can relate to in the popular culture, especially when you're growing up. So I'm totally with it.
Is that the greatest legacy that Star Trek will leave, that idea of acceptance, or is it its optimism for the future? Is its technology, how we were talking about how iPads exist now in part because of that vision? Or what is it that is Star Trek?
I think that the legacy of Star Trek is really multifaceted. That there is the technological aspect that, and that's how we create the future, really, by focusing on images, using our imagination, and you have to start somewhere. And Gene's blueprint is, I think, a remarkable model for so many reasons. The technology that is represented in the future on Star Trek has actually helped propel the advancement of technology in our present. Just look at the flip cell phone, modeled after the communicator, the Bluetooth earpiece on Lieutenant Uhuru's communicator. The examples are so rife in our present universe. And then there is the inspirational value. I know for a fact that there is an effort going on that will be announced early this fall, where they are starting the formation of the effort that will lead to humanity's putting life, human life, in a star system different from our own within the next 100 years. Now, in order to do that, all of the culture, the politics, the organization, the art, the science, the food, everything has to be self-contained because it's going to be a decades-long journey. And in order to get that done, we can only do it on the basis of cooperation and not competition. And it's going to have to be a global buy-in. And so when you think that they're actually thinking about creating what Gene called the Federation of Planets, that's not such a bad deal for coming out of a television series, I think it's pretty cool. I'm really a big fan of Gene's vision, and I think it comes closest to the future I would like to not only live in, but the future I'd like to help create.